Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
You know, there's this old Russian proverb, something like, if you chase two rabbits, you won't catch either one.
Right. Sounds simple, almost. Almost like a folk saying. But it holds this really deep truth, doesn't it, about getting, extraordinary results.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today.
We are. We're going deep into Gary Keller's book, The One Thing. It's got this subtitle, The Surprisingly Simple Truth Behind Extraordinary Results. And our mission, really, is to pull out the key stuff, the most important nuggets from the intro and the first 18 chapters.
Think of it like a shortcut, right?
Yeah, exactly. A curated shortcut. So you can grasp the core ideas, see how narrowing your focus simplifies things without getting totally swamped.
It makes me think of that scene in City Slickers. You know, the one.
Oh, yeah, with Curly.
Classic, right? Curly asks Mitch, do you know what the secret of life is? Mitch is clueless, of course. And Curly just holds up one finger.
Yeah.
This. One thing. Just one thing.
You stick to that and everything else don't mean shit. Something like that.
Exactly. That's what you've got to figure out. It's just a movie line, but wow, it really nails the core idea here.
It absolutely does. That core idea is, well, the book calls it go small to go big.
Yeah.
And Gary Keller, the author, he didn't just dream this up. It came from his own, intense struggle.
Yeah, he'd built this massive real estate company.
Yeah.
Right? But his life was chaotic.
Totally. He hit a wall. So he brings in a coach, and the coach looks at his org chart and pinpoints something incredibly specific.
Just 14 positions.
Just 14 positions that needed new faces. That was it.
Wow. For a huge company in chaos? That sounds way too simple.
Doesn't it? But Keller made this incredibly bold move. He basically fired himself as CEO.
Step back completely.
Yeah, to make finding those 14 people his only focus, his one thing.
And the result?
Incredible. Within 3 years, they hit this amazing growth spurt, averaging 40% year-over-year growth for almost a decade.
That's a stunning turnaround. Almost hard to believe from just focusing on hiring.
Well, and what's really interesting is that whole experience, that desperation and focus, led him to the focusing question. He realized even when he gave people shortlists, they'd miss the most important item.
Happens all the time.
So out of that frustration, he went as small as possible. He started asking, what's the one thing you can do this week such that by doing it, everything else would be easier or unnecessary?
And that was the game changer.
That's what he says. Results just went through the roof.
So going small isn't about thinking small.
Yeah.
It's about ignoring all the stuff you could do.
Right.
To laser focus on what you absolutely should do. Recognizing that not everything is equal.
Exactly. And that your biggest results come from how narrow you can make that focus.
It's tough, though, isn't it? We're wired to think more activity, more complexity equals bigger outcomes.
We are. But the book argues the opposite. Big success often comes from doing just a few things, maybe even one thing, exceptionally well, which naturally leads to this idea of the domino effect.
Ah, right, like lining them up.
Yeah. Success isn't instant, it's sequential. One thing builds on the next. You line up those dominoes, your priorities, find the lead one, the most important one.
And then just whack away at it.
Yeah.
Relentlessly.
Until it falls.
Yeah.
And starts that chain reaction.
Yeah.
That's how you get extraordinary results, according to Keller.
And you see this pattern when you look closely, right? Success leaves clues.
Definitely. Think about big companies. Google, for instance. They seem to do a million things.
But they're one thing. It's search, isn't it?
Absolutely. Search is the engine. That enables the advertising revenue, which is their main business.
Or Star Wars.
Yeah.
You think merchandise? Maybe, because that's billions.
Right. But the movies are the one thing. No movies, no Yoda toys, no video games.
The movies create the whole universe for everything else.
Precisely. And Apple, they're like a masterclass in an evolving one thing.
From Macs.
To iMacs, then iTunes, iPods, and boom, the iPhone. Each became the focus.
Creating that halo effect he talks about.
Right.
Where one great product pulls you into the whole ecosystem.
Exactly. They're always asking, what's our one thing now? It's dynamic.
And this isn't just for huge corporations. The book makes a strong point that no one is self-made.
That's a big one.
Even the biggest names often had a crucial one person in their corner.
Like Sam Walton, Walmart founder. His father-in-law gave him key loans early on.
L.S. Robson. Right. Yeah. And Einstein had Max Telmud, a mentor who introduced him to essential books.
Yeah, formative stuff. And Oprah, She credits her father for saving her, and then later Jeffrey Jacobs for pushing her to form Harpo Productions.
Instead of just being talent for someone else, it's a good reminder, success is rarely a solo flight.
And often, this ties into passion driving a singular skill.
Like the painter, Pat Matthews, committing to one painting a day.
Yeah, turning passion into profession through focus. Or Angelo Morico, that incredibly successful Italian tour guide. His one thing was his deep love and knowledge of Italy.
It creates this virtuous cycle.
Yeah, totally. Passion leads to putting in the time, which builds skill, which gets better results, which fuels more enjoyment and more passion. It feeds itself.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit, because the next big section really tackles some common beliefs head on.
Ah, the lies. Yes, these are huge.
The book argues these widely accepted ideas about success, they actually mislead us, derail us.
It quotes Mark Twain, right? It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so.
Perfect. These are the truthy lies. They sound right, feel right.
Like common sense, maybe? Or things everyone repeats, like Cortez burning his ships, which turns out he didn't actually do.
Really? Didn't know that.
Yeah. These myths just muddle our thinking, get us focused on the wrong things.
So lie number 1, everything matters equally.
A big one. In the world of results, equality is a lie.
Harsh, but probably true. Things just aren't equal in terms of impact.
Right. A dime is 10 cents. People deserve fairness, sure. But when it comes to achievement, no way does everything matter the same.
And the most important stuff, it doesn't always shout the loudest, so we get buried.
Overwhelmed, busy, but not actually productive on what counts.
It sounds so obvious when you say it, but man, I still fall into that trap. My to-do list feels like every item is urgent.
That's where the difference between a to-do list and a success list comes in.
Okay. To-do list? Long, scattered.
Usually, yeah. Pulling you everywhere. A success list. Short, focused. Pointing you in one specific direction.
And this ties into Pareto's Principle, the 80-20 rule.
Exactly. Joseph Choran popularized it, observed that 80% of Italian land was owned by 20% of the people. Saw it in manufacturing, too. 80% of defects from 20% of causes.
But for work, it means most of your results, like 80%, come from just 20% of your effort.
Roughly, yeah. But Keller says, don't stop there. Go further.
This is the extreme Pareto.
You got it. Apply the 80-20 rule to the 20%, then do it again. Keep drilling down until you find the single most important thing. The one thing.
He gives that example of brainstorming 100 ways to be elite.
Right. Narrowed it to 10, then pick one. Write a book.
And that one book became a massive bestseller, launched a whole series. One idea out of 100. That's extreme.
Or learning guitar. He only had 20 minutes a day. His friend Eric Johnson, legendary guitarist, said, focus on scales.
Scale.
Keller picked one scale, the minor blues scale, and boom, it unlocked classic rock solos for him. The point is, you can always find the essential one.
Okay, lie number 2. This one's everywhere. Multitasking.
Oh, yeah. Sold as a superpower.
We're told it's efficient, valuable, but the book is blunt. To do 2 things at once is to do neither.
And it's not just opinion. Clifford Nass at Stanford, his research was fascinating. He expected multitaskers to be amazing.
But they weren't.
They were lousy at everything, he found. Easily distracted, couldn't filter irrelevancy, basically terrible at the very things they thought they were good at.
Because it's not really multitasking, is it? It's task switching.
Exactly. Like juggling. You're not holding all 3 balls at once. You're catching and throwing one after another super fast.
And that switching has a cost.
A big one. Dr. David Meyer found it adds like 25% or more time for simple tasks. For complex stuff, it can be over 100% longer.
Wow. And the real-world dangers, texting while driving.
Matt Richtel's Pulitzer-winning series highlighted that. Responsible for something like 16% of traffic deaths, reduces focus by 40% like being drunk.
That's sobering. And it's not just physical danger. It hurts relationships too, right? That segmented attention thing.
Definitely. Dave Crenshaw talks about that. Trying to half listen while doing something else, it erodes connection.
Guilty as charged. Trying to answer email during a video call, you end up doing neither. Well, the book's clear. Just don't buy the lie.
So if doing too much at once is bad, what about needing constant, unwavering discipline? That's lie number 3, a disciplined life.
We think successful people are just disciplined machines.
Right. But the book says, nope, we don't need more discipline overall. We need to direct it better. Success is actually a short race, a sprint fueled by discipline just long enough for habit to kick in and take over.
Okay, I like that. So it's not about being a robot 24/7.
Not at all. Disciplined people are really just people who've successfully installed a few key habits.
You use discipline strategically to build the habit.
Yeah.
Then the habit runs on autopilot, more or less.
Pretty much. And forget that 21-day myth for habit building.
Oh, yeah. What's the real number?
A 2009 University College London study found it's more like 66 days on average. Big range, though, 18 to 254 days.
66 days. That feels more realistic. It takes time to rewire yourself.
It does. And interestingly, there's a halo effect. When people build one positive habit, other good things happen too.
Like what?
Less stress, better eating, less impulsive spending even. Fewer dirty dishes, apparently. One good habit can kind of lift other areas.
Huh. Okay, lie number 4. Willpower is always on will call.
Another huge misconception. We think willpower is just there when we need it, like ordering takeout.
But it's not.
Nope. It's a limited but renewable resource. Think of your phone battery. It drains during the day, needs recharging.
Willpower's like that.
Exactly. It depletes as you use it for resisting temptation, making decisions, focusing. Sleep recharges it.
The marshmallow test showed this, right? The kids who could wait.
Yeah, Walter Mischel's famous study, those kids who delayed gratification. Decades later, they generally had better academic results, higher SAT scores, better stress management. The low delayers had higher rates of obesity, addiction issues.
Wow. Long-term impact.
And it's physiological, too. Our prefrontal cortex, the willpower center, uses a lot of energy. When resources are low, like when you're hungry or tired, decision-making tanks.
Like that Israeli judge study.
Yeah. Parole chances were high early in the day or after a break, like 65%. But by the end of a session, plummeted to almost zero.
Because their willpower was drained, so they defaulted to the easy answer, no.
Precisely. It shows how much our state affects crucial decisions.
So the takeaway is, use your willpower wisely.
When you have your will, you get your way. You have to time your most important task, your one thing, for when your willpower is highest, usually earlier in the day for most people.
Don't fritter it away on minor stuff first thing.
Exactly. Know what taxes it, new behaviors, filtering distractions, resisting urges, suppressing emotions, tough choices, and guard it for what matters most.
Okay, lie number 5. A balanced life. This one feels almost sacred in our culture.
It does, but the book calls it a lie. Provocative, right?
Very. What's the argument?
Balance isn't a state you achieve, like a noun. It's an act of balancing, a verb. Things are never perfectly statically balanced.
Like a tightrope walker constantly adjusted.
Exactly. And the term work-life balance, it only really popped up in the mid-'80s. Technology blurring lines, more women in the workforce.
And the book says chasing perfect balance actually hurts achievement.
Yeah, it prevents those extraordinary time commitments needed for big results. Trying to give equal time to everything means, quote, everything gets shortchanged. Middle mismanagement.
Ouch. Middle mismanagement. It paints a picture.
Think of those sad stories. The teacher saving for travel clothes dies right before retiring. The exec postponing family time, thinking he can make it up later. You can't get those years back.
So if balance is a lie, what's the alternative?
Counterbalancing. It's more realistic, like that ballerina making constant small adjustments.
Accepting that sometimes work needs intense focus, other times family does. You can't peak in all areas simultaneously.
Right. You accept that leaving some things undone is a necessary trade-off for extraordinary results. But, and this is crucial, never go so far that you can't find your way back.
Don't completely neglect health or family for work, for instance.
Definitely not. That study on long work hours and heart disease is a stark reminder. It's about sustainability.
James Patterson's analogy, the 5 balls.
Love that one. Work is rubber, drop it, it bounces. Family, health, friends, integrity, they're glass. Drop them.
They shatter, or at least get seriously damaged.
So counterbalancing means knowing which balls are glass and protecting them, even when you have to let the rubber one drop for a bit.
Makes sense. Okay, the final lie, number 6. Big is bad.
This, Keller says, is the worst lie of all, because it leads to fear of success, megaphobia.
Fear of big. That sounds weird.
But think about it. If you're afraid of the perceived downsides of big success, more responsibility, scrutiny, pressure, you might subconsciously hold yourself back, leads to shrinking thinking.
Keeping your goals small and safe.
Yeah. Look how often history proved perceived limits wrong. Flat Earth, sound barrier, 4-minute mile.
We consistently underestimate what's possible.
So the book argues big is a placeholder for a leap of possibility. Thinking big frees you up. You ask different questions, look for different paths.
And the examples are powerful. Candace Leitner and MADD.
Saving hundreds of thousands of lives. Ryan Freljak, the kid starting Ryan's Well.
Bringing clean water to hundreds of thousands.
Derek Kayongo and the Global Soap Project. These people didn't think small.
And the key insight here is, when you aim for big, you grow.
Yes. On the journey to achieving big, you get bigger. Your thinking expands, your skills develop, your network grows. Your whole sense of what's possible changes.
This links to Carol Dweck's work, right?
Yeah.
Growth mindset versus fixed mindset.
Absolutely. Growth mindset thrives on challenges, sees effort as the path to mastery, learns from criticism. Fixed mindset avoids challenges, gives up easily, feels threatened by others' success.
People with a growth mindset naturally think bigger. Like Scott Forstall deliberately hiring for it on the iPhone team.
It was crucial. So the strategies are, think big. Don't just aim for 10. Ask how to get to 20.
Don't order from the menu, meaning
Don't just accept the standard options. Imagine entirely new possibilities, like Ali did for boxing or Einstein for physics.
then act bold, and importantly, don't fear failure.
Right. Failure is just feedback. It's part of learning and growing on the path to big.
Okay, so we've debunked the 6 lies. Now for the truth, the simple path.
Yeah, and Keller frames this with his own story. Trying to live those lies, trying to clench his way to success.
It landed him in the hospital, right? Exhausted.
Total burnout. That was his wake-up call. He needed a different way.
And he found it by realizing life is a question.
He quotes that poem, My Wage, by Rittenhouse. Any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. It implies our outcomes are often determined by the quality of the questions we ask ourselves.
So to get extraordinary answers, we need extraordinary questions.
Exactly. Which brings us to the absolute core of the book, the focusing question.
The master key. Let's hear it again.
What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary?
Okay, let's dissect that. Every word matters. What's the one thing I can do?
That forces focus. One thing, not 2, not 5. And can do it demands action, not just intention.
Right. Specific and actionable, then such that by doing it.
That's the bridge. It sets a condition. This isn't just any action. It's an action with a specific leveraged purpose.
And the final part? Everything else will be easier or unnecessary.
That's the kicker, the ultimate test for leverage. Have you found the lead domino? The action that makes a whole cascade of other actions either simpler or completely redundant.
It's like finding the bottleneck or the critical path. Fix that one thing and everything else flows better.
Precisely. It declutters your path forward, puts blinders on to focus you on the highest leverage point.
And you can apply this everywhere.
Absolutely. Spiritual life, health, personal goals, relationships, job, business, finances.
Like, what's the one thing I can do right now to improve my relationship with my partner?
Or, what's the one thing I can do this week to make progress on my biggest work project? It brings laser focus to any area.
There's the big picture version and then the small focus version for right now.
Yeah. What's my one thing right now?
Yeah.
Keeps you productive on the immediate next step.
So how do you make this question a habit, a real routine?
The book calls it the success habit. First step, understand and believe it. Really internalize its power.
Okay, buy in mentally. Then,
commit to the process. Remember those 66 days on average. Give it time to stick. It's not instant.
patience and persistence. Makes sense.
Then leverage reminders. Sticky notes, screensavers, calendar alerts, anything to keep that question front and center. Connect it visually to your goals.
Keep it top of mind. And finally,
Recruit support. Tell your partner, your team, your friends what your one thing is. Accountability helps immensely. Surround yourself with people who get it.
right, that environment piece again. Leverage social influence for good.
And remember, the goal is great answers. And great answers are big and specific.
The focusing question pushes you towards those.
It does. It forces you to stretch, to think beyond the obvious. A great answer usually lives outside your comfort zone.
So you might need to research, brainstorm.
Yeah, the book suggests a benchmark and trend approach. Study the best current solutions, benchmark, then look for emerging ideas or new ways to push beyond that trend. Find an original, better answer.
Which might mean reinventing yourself a bit, learning new things.
Often, yes, that's part of growth.
Okay, this leads into the final part, extraordinary results.
Yeah.
Unlocking your potential.
And it boils down to a simple rhythm: purpose, priority, and productivity.
Like an iceberg. Purpose is the big unseen mass below.
Exactly. Purpose is your big one thing, your why. Priority is your small one thing, the action you take now based on that purpose. Productivity is consistently doing that priority.
Let's start with purpose, your guiding star.
Think Scrooge. His purpose shifted drastically from hoarding wealth to helping others. That changed his priorities and how he productively used his resources.
It redefined enough for him.
Precisely. The book defines financial wealth beautifully, having enough money coming in without having to work to finance their purpose in life. Without purpose, you never know when you've got enough.
And purpose fuels you, right? Gets you through the tough spots.
Absolutely. It's the deep motivation.
So purpose tells you where you want to go. Priority tells you how to get there.
Remember Alice and the Cheshire Cat? Can't know which way to go if you don't know your destination. Purpose provides the destination.
And priority. It's fascinating, that word. Used to be singular. Prior. The first thing.
Yeah. Only became plural priorities in the 1900s. To get extraordinary results, you got to go back to one priority, your one thing.
This is where goal setting to the now comes in. The Russian dolls.
Exactly. Your someday goal is the biggest doll. Then your 5-year goal fits inside that, your 1-year goal inside that, all the way down to your one thing right now.
Connecting today's action directly to your ultimate ambition.
It's powerful. You literally ask, based on my someday goal, what's the one thing I can do in the next 5 years? Then, based on that 5-year goal, what's the one thing for this year? And so on, down to today, down to right now.
You're lining up the dominoes, connecting the dots backwards from the future.
And crucially, this helps you visualize the process, not just the outcome. Remember those students. Visualizing the study sessions beat just visualizing the A.
Avoids the planning fallacy, underestimating the work involved.
Right. Makes the big goal feel actionable today.
Okay. Purpose, priority, now, productivity, living for it.
This is where the rubber meets the road. It's about how you use your time to get results on your priority. The key tool, time blocking.
Make an appointment with yourself for your one thing and keep it.
Religiously. The book recommends 4 hours a day, minimum.
4 hours? That's a serious chunk.
It is. Think Stephen King writing every morning. Is he Stephen King because he does this? Or does he get to do it because he's Stephen King? The book suggests the former.
The discipline created the success, which then allowed the discipline.
Likely. And you time block planning, too. Time block your time to time block, weekly review, annual planning.
Like Seinfeld's don't break the chain method, daily progress, mark that X.
Simple, visual, effective, focus on just making the next X.
So how do you protect that sacred time block? Life intervenes.
Build a bunker, metaphorically or literally. Find a distraction-free space.
Turn off notifications. Maybe get an old laptop with no internet like Dan Heath did.
Store supplies nearby water, snacks so you don't need to leave, batch minor tasks like email for outside the block, and learn to say no or deflect interruptions politely but firmly.
Boundaries are key. It's about depth, not just hours logged.
Exactly.
Now, underpinning all this are the 3 commitments. What are they?
First, follow the path of mastery. Except it's a journey, not a destination.
The 10,000-hour rule comes in here.
Yeah, Anders Ericsson's research. About 10,000 hours of deliberate practice. For work, think maybe 4 hours a day focused on your one thing over years. Time beats talent.
And avoid the okay plateau, where you stop learning once you're just good enough.
Right. Stay curious, be a forever apprentice, always look for ways to improve.
Commitment 2.
Move from E, entrepreneurial, to P, purposeful. E relies on natural talent and effort, but hits ceilings.
You just bounce off the limit.
Yeah. P is different. When you hit a ceiling with the purposeful approach, you ask the focusing question again. What's the one thing I can do to break through? Find new models, new skills, seek help. Do what's unnatural to reach the next level.
So P is about actively seeking ways to overcome limitations.
Exactly. And the third commitment, live the accountability cycle.
Taking ownership.
Complete ownership of outcomes. And a huge part of this is having an accountability partner or a coach.
Someone to report to, who gives honest feedback.
Yes, frank, objective feedback, someone who expects progress. It's amazing how much more you do when you know someone's checking in. Elite performers almost always have coaches.
Makes the invisible visible. Okay, 3 commitments. But there are also thieves.
The 4 thieves of productivity, things that steal your focus and results. First, fear of chaos. When you intensely focus on one thing, other areas will get messy. Emails pile up, the house gets cluttered, chaos is guaranteed. You have to accept it, manage it, not fear it.
Trust that success in your one thing will give you resources to handle the chaos later.
Pretty much. Don't let fear of mess stop you from focusing. Second thief, inability to say no.
We touched on this. Saying yes to something is saying no to something else.
Every time. Think Steve Jobs cutting Apple products drastically. Focusing is about saying no, he said.
Learn to say no strategically, respectfully, like Seth Godin advises, or Keller's 3-foot rule.
If it's not related to your one thing, it's probably a no or a deflection. Ruthless prioritization.
Thief number 3.
Poor health habits. The silent thief. Trying to trade health for success is a bad bet.
High achievement needs high energy.
You got it. The book lays out a daily energy plan. Spiritual, meditation, prayer, physical, eat right, exercise, sleep, walk, emotional, connect with loved ones, mental, plan, calendar, and business. Time block the one thing. Energize yourself first.
Makes sense. Fuel the engine. And the last thief.
Environment doesn't support your goals. Your surroundings, who you see, what you experience, matter hugely.
Like that Harvard study on obesity spreading through social networks.
Exactly. If your friends become obese, your risk goes up 57%. It shows how much influence our network has.
So you need to consciously curate your environment.
Surround yourself only with people who are going to lift you higher. Choose friends and colleagues who are positive, growth-minded, supportive of your goals.
Wow, okay, that covers a lot. The power of one, the lies, the truth, the commitments, the thieves.
It's a comprehensive framework, simple concept, but deep implications.
So, wrapping up, that Chinese proverb again. To get through the hardest journey, we need to take only one step at a time, but we must keep on stepping.
And that first step, that next step, it's always your one thing.
Imagine your life as big as possible, then act small consistently to get there, like growing an orchard from one tree.
Yeah. And remember the Cherokee tale, the 2 wolves inside us, fear and faith?
Which one wins?
The one you feed. It's about choice, daily choices.
Success really is an inside job, isn't it? Purpose, priority, productivity on your one thing.
You become the first domino. You set things in motion.
So the final thought for everyone listening, reflecting on all this.
What's the one thing you can do right now? Literally, today. To start using the one thing in your life such that by doing it, everything else will become easier or unnecessary.
Don't wait. Don't delay. Figure out that first domino.
Because, as they say, in delay there lies no plenty. Take that step. Did you know that the secret to success, like the real secret, was actually hiding in plain sight in a huge comedy movie from the 90s? Seriously.
Yeah. That's a great hook.
Right. So today we're doing a deep dive into this incredibly powerful idea for productivity and getting truly extraordinary results. It's called the one thing.
Yeah, we're going to unpack the core concepts from the first few chapters.
And then this is where it gets really fascinating. We'll expose the 6 lies that, so often mislead us and derail us from achieving what we really want. We're pulling this from part 1 of the book.
Exactly. And our mission, really, for you listening, is to cut through all the noise. We've dug into chapters 1 through 9 of this amazing material.
Yep.
We've pulled out the most important bits, the key insights. This whole deep dive is really custom made to help you quickly get up to speed on this whole approach. Understand why it's so vital.
Get straight to the good stuff.
Pretty much. Straight to the core of what matters.
Okay, let's unpack this. Started with that movie insight I mentioned. Remember the movie City Slickers from 91?
Oh yeah, classic. Billy Crystal, Jack Palance.
Exactly. So there's that great scene, right? Mitch, Billy Crystal's character, is talking with Curly, the tough old cowboy played by Jack Palance.
Mm-hmm.
And Curly just stops his horse, turns to Mitch, holds up one finger and asks, "Do you know what the secret of life is?"
And Mitch is like, no.
Right. And Curly says this, one thing, just one thing. You stick to that and everything else don't mean shit.
Such a great line. But then Mitch asks the obvious question.
That's great, but what is the one thing? And Curly's perfect reply, that's what you've got to figure out.
Love it.
Oh.
And that really ties into the author's own story, doesn't it?
It really does. It's fascinating because the author, even after having some success, didn't truly get Curly's wisdom until much later. He hit a really rough patch.
Yeah, his company was struggling. Things felt like they were falling apart.
Totally. So he gets help from a coach. And this coach, after digging into everything, just points at the company's org chart and says, basically, there's only one thing you need to do right now.
Which was?
Find 14 key people. That's it. The author was, shocked. He thought it had to be way more complicated.
But the coach was just like, nope. Jesus needed 12, you need 14. Simple as that.
It was a total game changer for him. He actually stepped down as CEO, made finding those 14 people his absolute single focus, his one thing.
And the results were pretty staggering, weren't they?
Unbelievable. Within 3 years, they had this sustained growth, averaging like 40% year over year for almost a decade. Went from regional to international.
Wow.
And that whole experience, that's what led directly to this concept of the one thing. He saw firsthand that when he narrowed his focus, results just exploded.
And that idea that going small, it's so central to achieving those extraordinary results. It feels backward, doesn't it?
Totally counterintuitive.
I'm like, oh, I got to do more, be busier. But it's actually the opposite. It's not about trying to do everything you could do. It's about figuring out what you should do. Because if you spread yourself too thin, your energy, your time, well, the impact just diminishes, But doing fewer things and doing them really, really well, that's where you get way more effect.
That focus gets you to the single most important thing.
Exactly.
And the power of that single focus, I mean, the domino analogy really brings it home for me.
Oh, the domino effect. Yeah, that's a great illustration.
It's not just a kid's game, right? Think about that world record they set in the Netherlands. Over 4.4 million dominoes.
Incredible.
And a single flick set off this chain reaction that released enough energy for a guy to do like 500 push-ups.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But the physics behind it is even more amazing.
Yeah, that discovery by Lauren Whitehead, that a single domino can knock over another one that's 50% bigger.
That geometric progression.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
Totally. Like, by the 18th domino, you're talking something as tall as the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Keep going. The 31st is taller than Mount Everest.
And number 57, it would almost reach the moon.
It's just, wow. And the connection to success there is so clear.
How?
Well, it shows that extraordinary success isn't usually simultaneous. It doesn't all happen at once. It's sequential.
Ah, like lining up the dominoes.
Exactly. You line up your priorities, find that lead domino, your one thing, and you just keep hitting it. You do the right thing, then the next right thing, over and over.
And it builds on itself.
Precisely. It builds momentum, creates this geometric potential you might not even see coming. Knowledge, skills, wealth.
Yeah.
It all stacks up one thing at a time.
Okay, so success leaves clues. This idea is powerful because once you start looking for the one thing, you see it everywhere.
You really do. In companies, for instance.
Right. KFC started with one secret recipe, Coors beer. Grew massively focusing on one core product from one brewery for years.
Intel. Microprocessors, that's their one thing driving most of the revenue.
Google. Search, that's the engine that makes their main moneymaker, advertising, possible. Even Star Wars.
The movies are the one thing. They make all that merchandise fly off the shelves.
And Apple's whole journey shows it too, right? Macs, then iMacs, then iTunes, iPods, then the iPhone. Each became the new one thing, pulling everything else along with it.
That halo effect is real.
And it's not just about products or services. It's also about one person. This really struck me.
How so?
Just how true it is that nobody is truly self-made. Walt Disney had his brother Roy helping him early on.
Sam Walton got a crucial early loan from his father-in-law, L.S. Robson.
Albert Einstein had Max Talmud, his mentor, who opened up the world of science and math for him.
Oprah credits her father, and Jeffrey D. Jacobs, who pushed her to start Harpo Productions.
The Beatles had George Martin, the fifth Beatle, bridging the gap between their talent and the polished sound. It seems like almost everyone successful had that one person who made a huge difference.
It's a recurring theme, definitely.
And it also shows up as one passion, one skill. Like Pat Matthews, the painter who committed to one painting a day.
Or Angelo Morico, building his whole tour guide business in Italy out of his passion for the country.
And then there's the incredible story of Gilbert Tuhobonier. Wow. His one passion was running.
Right, the runner from Burundi.
Yeah, national champion in high school. And that passion, that skill, it literally saved his life during that horrific massacre. He survived being buried under burning bodies for hours, escaped and outran his captors.
It's just unbelievable resilience.
And then he comes to Texas, becomes an All-American runner in college, a coach, and co-founds a charity, the Gazelle Foundation.
Drilling for water back in Burundi.
And their main fundraiser, Run for the Water. His passion became a skill, which led to a career which gave him a way to give back. It's all connected.
That's an amazing example of the one thing in action through passion.
And finally, you see it in one life. Mm-hmm. Think about Bill Gates. High school passion, computers, skill, programming.
Met one key person, Paul Allen.
Started Microsoft with one initial goal, basic for the Altair, became the richest man in the world.
And then shifted his focus later in life.
Exactly. Retired, formed one foundation with Melinda, focused on tough problems like health and education. Eventually, they narrowed it down to one thing: stamping out infectious disease through vaccines.
Finding the biggest impact they could have. Their one thing.
Yeah. Belinda asked, where can we have the biggest impact? And vaccines were the answer.
It's undeniable, isn't it?
Yeah.
The one thing seems to be right there at the core of so much success.
It really does.
But, and this is the interesting part, even though it sounds simple, actually buying into it, actually living it can be really hard.
That's so true.
Which leads to the question, why?
Yeah.
Why do we resist something so seemingly straightforward and powerful?
That is the perfect question, and it leads us straight into part 1 of the book, which is titled The Lies That Mislead and Derail Us.
The lies.
Yeah. You know, Stephen Colbert coined that word truthiness back in '06.
Vaguely remember that, yeah.
He defined it as truth that comes from the gut, not books. Merriam-Webster even made it word of the year. It perfectly captures those things that just sound true, even if they're not.
Like urban legends or common sayings that aren't actually accurate.
Exactly. Like the idea of the frog slowly boiling in water is a great metaphor, but physiologically it's not true. Or fish sink from the head down, also not true. But they sound kind of right. They feel truthy.
And the danger is we end up basing decisions, sometimes really important ones, on these lies.
Precisely. We act on what we believe, even if it's wrong. And that muddles our thinking, misguides our actions, and yeah, it totally sidetracks our success.
So the book identifies 6 specific lies that block us from living the one thing.
Yep, 6 big ones. 1, everything matters equally. 2, multitasking. 3, a disciplined life. 4, willpower is always on will call. 5, a balanced life. And 6, big is bad.
Okay, let's break those down, starting with lie number 1, everything matters equally.
This is huge, right? The feeling that everything is urgent, everything is important. How do you even decide where to start?
Well, the book argues pretty strongly that equality might be a noble goal for people, but when it comes to results and achievement, it's just a lie.
Not everything matters equally. Some things matter way more than others.
This is where our standard to-do lists often fail us. They become these endless survival lists, right? Just a jumble of tasks, big and small, important and trivial.
And we feel productive checking things off, but are we really moving the needle on what matters most?
Often not. The book puts it bluntly. Busyness rarely takes care of business. Just being active isn't the same as being productive.
So, if not a standard to-do list, how do successful people figure out what does matter most?
They tend to follow the principle discovered, or at least popularized, by people like Joseph Juran back in the day. He stumbled onto Vilfredo Pareto's work.
The Pareto Principle, the 80-20 rule.
Exactly. The idea that generally 80% of your results will come from just 20% of your efforts or activities.
And Juran saw this wasn't just about economics. It applied everywhere.
Right. But the book says you need to take it even further. Go for extreme Pareto.
Meaning
don't just stop at the top 20%. Ask, okay, within that 20%, what's the vital few there? That's 20% of the 20%, which is 4%.
Keep narrowing it down.
Keep narrowing it down until you get to the absolute one thing, the single most important activity. It really pushes you to ask, how small, how focused can you actually go?
Can you give an example of that?
Yeah, the author talks about brainstorming like 100 ideas with his team to boost their industry's image.
Okay.
Then they narrowed it to 10 potentials. Then they picked just one.
Right.
Write a book. And that one book became a huge bestseller.
So they went from 100 down to 1.
Exactly. Or his guitar practice example. He only had 20 minutes a day. He asked the legendary Eric Johnson for advice.
What did he say?
Practice scales. So the author picked one scale, the minor blues scale, and focused just on that. That became his one thing for guitar.
Unlocking a whole area for him.
Right. So what's the takeaway here for you, the listener?
Well, first, go small. Focus on being productive, not just busy. Let what matters most actually drive your day.
Second, go extreme. Keep drilling down past the 80-20 until you find that single most vital activity, your one thing.
Third, say no. Or at least not now. Protect the time for your one thing. Don't let other stuff crowd it out until it's done.
And finally, don't get caught in just checking boxes. Success isn't about finishing a long list. It's about doing what matters most extremely well.
Okay, let's move to lie number 2, multitasking. Oh boy, this one is everywhere. People almost wear it like a badge of honor.
Right. I'm a great multitasker. But the book flat out says multitasking is a lie.
And there's research to back this up. I was really surprised by that Stanford study from Clifford Nass in 2009.
Yeah, tell us about that.
He expected to find that people who multitask all the time would be, better at it. He divided students into high and low multitaskers.
Yeah.
He was totally wrong. Nass himself said the high multitaskers were basically suckers for irrelevancy. They couldn't filter out unimportant stuff, they couldn't manage their memory well, and they were slower at switching tasks. He concluded they were just lousy at everything.
Wow. That really contradicts the common wisdom, doesn't it?
Totally flips it on its head.
And the reason is pretty simple when you think about it. The term multitasking came from computers, right? One processor quickly switching between tasks.
Right. But humans aren't computers.
Exactly. We could do two unrelated things sometimes, like walking and talking, because they use different brain channels.
But we can't focus effectively on two demanding things at once, like trying to drive safely while having an intense phone call.
No. Our brain isn't focusing on both simultaneously. It's rapidly switching between them. That's task switching.
And that switching has a cost.
A huge cost. Studies show it can eat up 25% of your time for simple tasks, and over 100%, meaning it takes more than twice as long for complex ones. Plus, it creates all these mental loose ends.
Yeah, the book talks about brain channels. You can walk and talk different channels, but driving and, say, visualizing how your spouse rearranged the furniture, that's channel interference. You can't do both well.
And trying to juggle multiple important things just divides your focus and makes the outcome worse for everything. Estimates suggest we lose almost 30% of our workday effectiveness to multitasking.
Plus, it increases stress.
Definitely. And think about the implications. We demand total focus from airline pilots, right? Or surgeons. Lives are on the line.
Of course.
So if we expect that from them, why do we accept distraction and multitasking when it comes to our own most important work? Or even on relationships?
Like texting under the table during dinner.
Exactly. Dave Crenshaw nailed it when he said that giving people piecemeal attention damages relationships. The cost is more than just lost time.
So what are the big ideas here for you? First, acknowledge that distraction is normal. Don't beat yourself up.
Right. But second, understand that acting on those distractions, multitasking, takes a real toll. It leads to mistakes, bad choices, more stress.
And third, distraction undermines results. If something is truly important, give it your undivided attention. Find your one thing for that moment and focus.
Okay, moving on. Line number 3, a disciplined life.
The myth of the super disciplined person. The idea that successful people just have iron willpower 24/7.
Yeah, the book calls that a lie, too. Success isn't about living this constantly, relentlessly disciplined life.
It's more like a sprint.
Exactly. A sprint fueled by discipline just long enough for habit to kick in and take over. That's the key distinction.
Discipline isn't the end goal. It's the tool to build something else.
Precisely. Discipline is what you use to train a behavior. You apply it consistently for long enough, and that behavior becomes a habit.
So those people who look incredibly disciplined.
What you're likely seeing are people who've successfully built a few really powerful habits into their lives. They use discipline selectively to get those habits established.
You don't need to be a disciplined person overall. You just need enough discipline to build the right habit.
There you go.
The Michael Phelps example here is fantastic.
Oh, yeah, the Olympic swimmer.
Diagnosed with ADHD, teacher said he'd never be able to focus on anything, yet becomes the most decorated Olympian ever. How?
His coach said he channeled all that energy into one core habit.
Swimming. Every single day. 7 days a week, 365 days a year, from age 14 through the Beijing Olympics. That's selected discipline, building one powerful habit.
And that habit carried him to extraordinary results. It highlights the science behind habit formation, too.
Right. It takes longer than people think, doesn't it?
Yeah, the University College London study found it takes an average of 66 days to form a new habit. Not the 21 days people often quote.
66 days. That's over 2 months on average.
And the range was huge, from 18 days up to 254 days, depending on the person and the habit.
So you got to stick with it.
You do. But what's fascinating is the halo effect researchers found.
What's that?
Studies by Oten and Cheng showed that when people successfully built one positive habit, like exercising regularly, other good things followed. They reported less stress, eating better, spending less impulsively, even doing fewer dishes.
Seriously? Fewer dishes?
Apparently. Building one good habit seems to create this positive ripple effect, which makes you wonder.
What single habit could you build that would create that kind of ripple effect in your life?
Great question. So the big ideas for you here are:
1. Don't aim to be a disciplined person in everything. Aim to be a person of powerful habits. Use discipline selectively to build them.
2. Build habits one at a time, sequentially. Focus your discipline on establishing one key habit before moving to the next.
And 3, give each habit enough time. Plan for around 66 days, on average, for it to become automatic, routine.
All right, let's tackle lie number 4. Willpower is always on will call.
This is a biggie. The idea that you can just summon willpower whenever you need it, like ordering takeout.
But it's a lie. Willpower doesn't work like that.
The marshmallow test is the classic illustration here, isn't it? Walter Mischel's experiment with the 4-year-olds.
Right. 1 marshmallow now, or wait 15 minutes and get 2. Torture for a little kid.
Totally. Most couldn't wait even 3 minutes. Only about 30% managed to hold out for the bigger reward.
But the really insightful part came decades later when Mischel tracked them down.
Yeah, the kids who could delay gratification, the high delayers, had better academic results, higher SAT scores, better self-esteem, handled stress better.
While the low delayers were more likely to struggle with weight, addiction, things like that, delayed gratification, which requires willpower, was a huge predictor of life success.
So willpower is crucial, but the lie is thinking it's always available.
Exactly. The book explains willpower is more like a renewable resource.
Yeah.
Think of your phone battery.
Starts full, drains with use, needs recharging.
Precisely. And it drains faster than you might think. That study by Baba Shiv is fascinating.
The one with the numbers and the cake.
Yeah. Students asked to memorize a 7-digit number were almost twice as likely to choose chocolate cake over fruit salad compared to students who only had remembered 2 digits.
Just that tiny extra mental effort depleted their willpower enough to make the less healthy choice.
It shows willpower is like a fast twitch muscle. Strong burst, but no endurance. It gets tired quickly.
And food for thought plays a big role here too, right?
Yeah.
Our brain uses a ton of energy.
A huge amount. About 1/5 of our daily calories. And the prefrontal cortex, where our willpower and decision-making happen, it's an energy hog.
So when your resources get low, like low blood sugar,
Willpower is one of the first things to go. Making good choices gets harder. That's why eating regularly, especially complex carbs and protein, is key for maintaining willpower.
which leads to that concept of default judgment when willpower is low. The Israeli parole judge study is chilling.
Oh, that one is stunning. Judges were way more likely to grant parole early in the day or right after a food break.
Like a 65% chance right after a break.
But as time wore on and their willpower presumably depleted, the chances plummeted, nearing zero right before the next break.
Their default decision, when tired and low on willpower, became no, deny parole.
It really makes you ask, what are your default settings when your willpower runs low? How might those defaults be holding you back without you even realizing it?
So the practical takeaways for you are:
First, don't spread your willpower thin. It's limited. Reserve it for your one thing, your most important task.
second, watch your fuel gauge. Eat properly and regularly to keep your willpower tank topped up.
And third, time your tasks strategically. Do your most important work, your one thing, early in the day when your willpower is likely at its strongest.
Okay, line number 5, a balanced life. This one feels almost sacred to some people. Work-life balance.
It's a huge cultural ideal, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
But the book argues a balanced life is a lie.
Whoa. Controversial.
A little, yeah. The argument is that balance isn't really a state you achieve and then just stay there. It's an act. It's balancing.
Like walking a tightrope.
Sort of.
Huh.
And if you want to achieve something truly significant, something that gives you purpose and meaning, you inevitably have to lean into it, go out of balance for periods of time.
Pursuing the extraordinary means you can't stay perfectly in the middle.
Right. The book points out that work-life balance as a concept really only took off in the 80s, largely as more women entered the workforce and technology started blurring the lines.
And the danger of chasing that perfect middle is what the book calls middle mismanagement.
Yeah. Always trying to stay in the middle prevents you from ever committing extraordinary time or energy to anything. But the magic, the breakthrough results, they often happen at the extremes, when you go all in on something.
This reminds me of those poignant stories about time. Like the teacher saving fabric for retirement clothes she never got to wear.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. Or the businessman who thought he could just get back the years he missed with his family after he sold his company.
You can't, can you? You can't rewind time, miss a kid's birthday, and then just make it up later. The moment is gone.
It's a stark reminder. So, if perfect balance is a lie, what's the alternative?
Counterbalancing.
Explain that.
Think of a ballerina on her toes. She looks perfectly balanced, right? But if you look closely, she's making constant tiny adjustments, shifting her weight. That's counterbalancing.
So it's about actively managing the imbalances.
Exactly. It's about knowing when you're leaning too far one way and consciously correcting, making sure you don't go so far out that you can't get back or stay out so long there's nothing to come back to.
That study on British civil servants working really long hours, over 11 hours a day, and having increased heart disease risk, that reinforces the need for counterbalancing, for not staying out of balance too long.
Definitely. And the book suggests thinking about two different kinds of counterbalancing for two different areas of life.
Okay.
Your work bucket and your personal life bucket. For work, especially your one thing, you might need to go long. Give it disproportionate time, except being out of balance with other work tasks to achieve something extraordinary.
But for your personal life, spirit, body, family, friends, you need to go short.
Meaning
You maintain constant awareness. You might dip out of balance briefly for work, but you never neglect these core personal areas for long periods. You make quick, frequent adjustments to stay connected.
That analogy James Patterson uses is great here. The 5 balls you juggle: work, family, health, friends, integrity.
Right. Work is the rubber ball. If you drop it, it'll likely bounce back.
But the other 4, family, health, friends, integrity, those are glass balls. Drop one of those.
It's scuffed, nicked, maybe even shattered, irrevocably damaged. That really puts it in perspective. Makes you ask, which balls in your life are glass?
So for you listening, the big ideas are, think in terms of 2 buckets, work and personal.
In your work bucket, counterbalance by sometimes going to extremes on your one thing. That's often necessary for big professional wins.
But in your personal life bucket, counterbalance constantly. Stay aware, make short, frequent adjustments. Never let those glass balls drop.
Okay, we're down to the final lie. Line number 6. Big is bad.
This one might be the most insidious, the book suggests. The idea that aiming too high is somehow wrong or dangerous or destined for failure.
Yeah, like a fear of success itself. Megaphobia, they call it. It makes us shrink our thinking.
We put limits on ourselves.
We really do.
Yeah.
And history shows we're terrible at predicting our actual limits, right?
Yeah.
People thought the Earth was flat, that a 4-minute mile was impossible.
We consistently underestimate what's possible. No one really knows their ultimate ceiling.
And the key insight here is that just thinking big changes everything. It frees you to ask different questions, follow different paths, and try new things.
It opens up possibilities you wouldn't even consider with small thinking.
Look at the examples of people who went big. Sabir Bhatia, starting Hotmail with just $250, but a gargantuan dream.
Sells it for $400 million. Wow. Or Arthur Guinness signing a 9,000-year lease. Talk about long-term vision.
J.K. Rowling envisioning all 7 Harry Potter books before the first one was even done.
Sam Walton planning his estate way ahead of time to save Walmart billions in taxes. That's thinking big about the future.
And it's not just business. Think about social impact. Candace Lightner starting MADD, saving hundreds of thousands of lives.
Ryan Hurljack, starting Ryan's Well as a little kid, bringing clean water to over 750,000 people.
Derek Kayongo and the Global Soap Project, turning hotel waste into life-saving hygiene. Big goals, huge impact.
It proves that thinking big isn't bad. It can be incredibly good.
And the process of striving for big goals actually changes you. On the journey to achieving big, you get bigger.
That connects to Carol Dweck's research on mindset.
Exactly. People with a growth mindset who believe abilities can be developed are less likely to put limits on themselves. They reach higher. Scott Forstall deliberately hired growth-minded people for the original iPhone team.
Because they needed people who believed they could do something that hadn't been done before. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What big possibilities are just waiting inside you if you dared to think bigger?
Great question. So, the final set of big ideas for you.
First, think big. Don't just aim for a little better, double down. Ask much bigger questions about what's possible in every area of your life.
Second, don't just order from the existing menu of options. Imagine outcomes nobody else has even thought of yet. Think different, as Apple said.
Third, act bold. Figure out who else has achieved something similar to your big goal. Study them, their models, systems, habits, relationships. Success leaves clues you can follow.
And finally, don't fear failure. See it as part of the learning process on the road to achieving something extraordinary. Embrace that growth mindset.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot. From the core idea of the one thing, finding that single point of focus,
Stemming from that curly wisdom and the author's own turnaround.
to the power of the domino effect, going small to go big.
And then diving deep into those 6 lies that hold so many people back. Everything matters equally.
Multitasking.
The myth of the disciplined life.
Willpower always being there.
The trap of seeking perfect balance.
And the fear that thinking big is somehow bad.
Recognizing and tackling these lies seems absolutely crucial if you really want to apply the one thing and get those extraordinary results the book talks about.
It really ties it all together. So here's a final thought for you listening. If you were going to really pinpoint your one thing, maybe just for the next week or month, and if you were going to commit to fighting just one of these 6 lies starting now, which lie would it be?
Yeah, which one resonates most or feels like the biggest roadblock for you right now?
And maybe more importantly, what's the absolute smallest action you could take, like today, to start living the truth instead of the lie and begin, blowing up your life in the best possible way? Ever feel like you're just incredibly busy, like you're running flat out, but maybe not really getting closer to your biggest goals?
That hamster wheel feeling.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, today we're looking at a really surprising secret to getting extraordinary results. And it's not about doing more, it's about focusing on the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone through a stack of your material, really digging into part 2, chapters 10 to 12, and part 3, chapters 13 to 18, all focusing on this powerful idea. Our mission really is to cut through all the noise. We want to show you how a kind of deceptively simple shift can change everything. Your path to high productivity, the commitments you actually need, and, the common traps that can derail you.
Yeah, and what's really insightful, I think, is that these ideas we're going to unpack, they aren't just like abstract theories.
Right.
They give you a practical, actionable framework, something you can use to cut through the overwhelm of tasks and information we all face so you can focus on what genuinely matters to you.
Finding that aha moment you can use right away.
Precisely. It's about finding that single, most leveraged activity. The one that once you do it, makes everything else easier or maybe even unnecessary.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. There's this really relatable story from the author talking about years spent chasing success the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
They admit falling for these lies of success, thinking everything mattered equally, trying to cram it all in.
We've all been there, I think.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it led to frustration, self-doubt, and this constant feeling of being physically clenched, tight jaw, tense shoulders, stomach in knots.
Yeah, the physical tension.
And this intense burnout approach, even though it brought some outward success, it actually led to sickness and this deep dissatisfaction with it all.
And the big shift, the really profound insight here, is moving from that clenching to a real unclenching.
Unclenching, I like that.
The author eventually ditched those lies.
Yeah.
And started doing less, but intentionally and purposefully less. And the results were amazing. They became more successful, felt better than ever. It reveals a core truth, I think, for so many of us. We tend to overthink, overplan, overanalyze things. But the real key isn't in all the things we do. It's in that handful of things we do well. Success ultimately is about being appropriate in the moments of your life.
Okay, so if success is about doing just a handful of things well, how do you figure out what that handful is?
Good question.
This leads us straight to a core tool they talk about, the focusing question. It actually echoes advice from way back from Andrew Carnegie.
The industrial magnate, yeah.
Right. Back in 1885, he told students to concentrate your energy, thought, and capital exclusively upon the business in which you are engaged. He even challenged that old saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
What did he say instead?
He said, put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket.
I love that.
Yeah.
But the immediate question is, how do you know which basket to pick? Which one to watch so closely?
Yeah.
And the focusing question is precisely that tool. It's designed, really, to help you pinpoint the one most important thing. The thing that ensures, by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary.
Finding the first domino.
That's the idea, finding that single most leveraged activity that starts the chain reaction.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more. This deep dive points to this really powerful natural rhythm: purpose, priority, and productivity. 3 Ps. They're described as forever connected and continually confirming each other's existence.
Think of it like an iceberg. What you see above the water, the productivity, the achievements, that's just the tip.
Okay.
But the huge mass below the surface, the part that supports everything, that's your purpose and your priority.
Ah, okay.
And the most productive people, they get this. They start with purpose. They use it like a compass to figure out the priority that then drives their actions. And that, the sources say, is the straightest path to extraordinary results.
So how do you actually use purpose? How does it create this extraordinary life? The material use is a great example. Ebenezer Scrooge.
Ah, good old Scrooge. From A Christmas Carol.
Right, the cold-hearted, penny-pinching guy, life all about money, lonely, bitter.
We all know him, and what's fascinating is how, after those ghostly visits, his entire purpose just flips.
Completely.
It shifts from money to people, and that changes his priority, right? From hoarding cash to using it to help others.
Yeah.
And then his productivity follows suit. His days become filled with actions aimed at benefiting people. Dickens just shows it perfectly. Who we are and where we want to go determine what we do and what we accomplish. A life on purpose, it's powerful and it's happier.
That brings up the whole happiness question, doesn't it? We all want it, but maybe we misunderstand how it works.
Very often.
There's this old tale, the begging bowl. A king tries to fill a beggar's bowl, but it's bottomless.
And the secret?
It's simply made up of human desire. Getting stuff, money, it gives us a quick happiness spike, but it fades fast. Without a bigger picture, a purpose, we fall into serial success seeking, always chasing the next high.
Right, that constant chase. So the critical question becomes, how do you find lasting happiness? Well, Dr. Martin Seligman, who used to head the American Psychological Association, he points to 5 factors. But the most important, engagement and meaning.
Engagement and meaning.
Yeah, he says happiness happens on the way to fulfillment. When your daily actions actually fulfill a bigger purpose, that's where the deep, lasting happiness comes from.
That makes sense.
Like being financially wealthy, it's not just about a number. It's having enough money coming in without having to work to finance your purpose in life. Without purpose, how do you even know when enough is enough?
You never do. Wow. So the power of purpose is huge. It gives clarity, conviction, faster decisions.
It's the ultimate glue. Yeah, it helps you stick with it when things get tough.
It's about finding your big why. What really drives you deep down. And if you don't know right away...
That's okay. The advice is just pick a direction. Start somewhere. The author shares their own. My purpose is to help people live their greatest life possible through my teaching, coaching, and writing.
So you can start small, test it out.
Exactly. And time brings clarity. You refine it as you go.
Okay, so you've got your purpose, your destination. How do you get there? I'm thinking of Alice in Wonderland.
Ah, the Cheshire Cat.
Right. Alice asks which way to go, and the cat says, that depends a good deal on where you want to get to.
Yeah.
Live with purpose, you know where you're going, live by priority.
And you know what to do to get there. It's the next logical step.
Makes sense.
And it's interesting. Historically, the word priority, it comes from the Latin prior, meaning first. And it was singular.
Just one.
Yeah, it literally meant the most important thing. Only around the 20th century did we start pluralizing it, making priorities. It kind of lost its power.
Huh. Never thought of that.
So for extraordinary results today, the meaning has to be the same. One thing. Your top priority. You can have lots of tasks, sure, but only one top priority.
Which leads to this idea of goal setting to the now.
Right. Taking that big future goal.
And drilling it down.
Exactly. Methodically, step by step, down to what you need to be doing right now. Think of those Russian nesting dolls.
Okay, yeah.
Your one thing right now fits inside your one thing for today, which fits inside the week's one thing, and so on, all the way up to that big someday goal. It's how a small thing can actually build up to a big one.
That's powerful.
And connecting this to, how our brains work.
Yeah.
Most people fall victim to something called hyperbolic discounting.
Hyperbolic what now?
Hyperbolic discounting. It's basically our strong preference for smaller, immediate rewards over much bigger future ones, that present bias.
Like choosing 5 minutes of scrolling now instead of an hour working on the big project?
Exactly. And it can kill long-term goals. Research actually backs this up. Students who visualize the process like all the individual study sessions needed for an A did way better than those who only picture the outcome, the A itself.
So visualizing the doing, not just the getting?
Right. It helps beat the planning fallacy, where we always underestimate how long things take, and gets you thinking strategically, step by step.
Okay. And the final step for living by priority, it sounds almost too simple.
It does, but it's crucial. Put pen to paper.
Just write it down.
Yep. Dr. Gail Matthews' research, it showed people who wrote down their goals were almost 40% more likely to achieve them.
Wow, 39.5%? That's significant for such a simple act.
It really is. Locks it in somehow.
Okay, so we have purpose, we have priority, we've even written it down, but knowing isn't doing right. This is where action comes in.
Mm-hmm. Back to Scrooge.
Yeah. His big change only mattered because he acted. Productive action transforms lives. It's not if you'll do something, it's what you'll do. What you do defines your life, especially when it matters most.
Absolutely. And the most successful people, they're the most productive.
Yeah.
Not because they work more hours necessarily.
Right.
It's because they get more done in the hours they work.
Yeah.
And the secret weapon, time blocking, their one thing.
A big block. Okay, let's get into that. It's called productivity's greatest power tool.
It really is.
Making an actual appointment with yourself in your calendar just for your one thing. The author found this was the key, even with limited energy. Everything else, emails, other projects, meetings, it all has to wait until the one thing is done.
And the source material shows this visually, right? The contrast between a typical fragmented day where everything else just takes over.
Yeah, chaos.
Versus a productive day where your one thing gets the time of day it deserves. If disproportionate results come from one activity, it needs disproportionate time. Simple as that.
And during that block, you ask the focusing question again?
You do, but for that specific block, today, what's the one thing I can do for my one thing, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Keeps you laser focused within the block.
Okay, so what should you actually time block, and is there an order?
Yes, there's a recommended order. First, and this might surprise you,
What is it?
time block your time off.
Time off first.
Yep. Successful people plan their vacations, their long weekends, first. It's crucial for recharging. Think of it as sharpening the saw. Resting is as important as working. You come back stronger, more productive.
Okay, that makes sense. What's next?
Second, time block your one thing. This is your most important appointment. Block it early in the day if you can, before the day gets away from you.
How long?
The recommendation is at least 4 hours a day.
4 hours. Wow.
Think of Stephen King. Prolific writer, right? He structures his mornings like this. It's not because he's Stephen King he gets to do it. He is Stephen King because he does this.
Ah, interesting distinction.
And they work on event time, not clock time. Like a farmer milking cows, you finish when the job is done, not just when the clock hits a certain time.
Okay, time off. One thing. What's the third block?
Third, time block your planning time, about an hour a week. Use it to review your bigger goals, annual, monthly, and ask what needs to happen this week to stay on track.
Lining up the dominoes for the week.
Precisely. Like Jerry Seinfeld and his don't break the chain method for writing jokes daily, that consistency builds incredible momentum.
Right, the X on the calendar.
But, and this is the huge but, time blocking only works if you protect it fiercely.
Protect it? How?
The world doesn't know your one thing, right? So you have to guard that time with a vengeance. Treat it like an unmovable appointment. If someone asks, just say, sorry, I already have an appointment then.
Even if it's your boss.
If it's a really high-level request, you can negotiate.
Yeah.
Offer to do it later. Okay, if I get that done by 4 p.m., would that work? But the rule is, if you ever have to erase a time block, you must replace it. Reschedule it immediately.
Don't let it just disappear. Okay, any other tips for protecting that time?
Yeah, the author suggests practical things. Maybe put up a sign. Until my one thing is done, everything else is a distraction. Do a quick brain dump beforehand to clear your head of other nagging tasks.
Get it all out.
And then there are 4 ways to battle distractions. 1, build a bunker. Find a quiet space. 2, store provisions. Have snacks, water, everything you need so you don't have to leave.
Minimize excuses to get up.
Exactly. 3, sweep for minds. Turn off the phone, email, browsers. Eliminate the temptations. And 4, enlist support. Let people around you know what you're doing and when you'll be free.
Got it. Bunker, provisions, sweep, support. Okay, so this all sounds great, but just knowing what to do isn't the whole picture, is it?
Not at all. To get those extraordinary results, you need to make 3 critical commitments. And just as importantly, be aware of 4 thieves that can steal your productivity.
Thieves, I like that. It reminds me of that Good Samaritan experiment you mentioned earlier. Seminary students rushing to talk about helping people literally stepped over someone in need because they were late.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? If they could lose focus under pressure, anyone can.
So what are these commitments we need?
Okay, the 3 commitments are, first, follow the path of mastery. Second, move from E to P. And third, live the accountability cycle.
path of mastery, what does that mean exactly?
It means seeing your most important work not as a destination, but as a lifelong journey. Always striving to get better, being a master of what you know and an apprentice of what you don't.
Like continuous learning.
Exactly. It connects to Anders Ericsson's 10,000-hour rule. Elite performers, like violinists, they put in over 10,000 hours of deliberate practice by age 20.
10,000 hours? That's a lot.
It averages out to about 4 hours a day on your one thing, the lesson. Time on a task, over time, eventually beats talent every time. Mastery builds confidence. Competence makes future steps easier. Like Jigoro Kano, judo's founder, wanting to be buried in his white belt, the learning never ends.
Wow. Okay, commitment 2. Move from E to P.
Right. E is for entrepreneurial. It's how we all start things. Natural talent, enthusiasm, just diving in.
Winging it sometimes?
Pretty much. But that approach hits a ceiling of achievement. Like trying to chop down a huge tree with just a hand axe. You make progress, then you get stuck.
Okay, so P is?
P is purposeful. When you hit that ceiling with the E approach, the P approach means you actively look for new models and systems, better ways to do things to push through.
So finding the chainsaw instead of just swinging the axe harder.
Exactly. It often means doing things that feel a bit unnatural at first, more structured. This helps break through the okay plateau, that point where people stop improving because they're just good enough, like typing speed. Most people hit a level and never get faster.
Guilty. Okay, third commitment. Live the accountability cycle.
This one might be the most critical. It's about taking complete ownership of your outcomes, holding yourself and no one else responsible.
Being the author of your life, not the victim.
Precisely. The source uses an example. 2 managers facing a sudden market downturn. One immediately digs in, owns it, asks, "What can I do?" The other blames everyone else, makes excuses. "It's not my job, nothing I can do."
Big difference in mindset.
Huge. Accountability is how you find solutions others miss, is how you achieve results.
And a fast track to accountability.
Get an accountability partner, a mentor, a peer, a coach. Remember Dr. Matthews' research on writing goals down?
Yeah, the 39.5% boost.
Get this. People who also sent weekly progress reports to a friend. They were 76.7% more likely to achieve their goals.
Whoa, almost double.
Yeah. It's why elite performers always have teachers and coaches. That feedback loop is incredibly powerful.
Okay, those are the commitments. Mastery, E to P, accountability. Now, what about those thieves waiting to rob our productivity?
Right. Even with the best intentions, these 4 can sneak in.
Like the Good Samaritan experiment showed us.
Exactly. Thief number 1, the inability to say no.
The people pleaser problem.
It is. Every time you say yes to something, you're implicitly saying no to potentially everything else you could be doing, including your one thing. Steve Jobs knew this, cutting Apple products from 350 down to 10. He said, focusing is about saying no.
So how do you say no without being, difficult?
Respectfully, promptly, maybe even suggest someone else who could help. The author has a 3-foot rule. If a request isn't within 3 feet of being related to your one thing, seriously consider saying no.
Okay, thief number 2.
Fear of chaos. Look, when you focus intensely on your one thing, other stuff will pile up. Emails, laundry, other projects, messes are inevitable.
So don't panic when things get messy outside the one thing.
Exactly. Chaos is guaranteed to show up when you're striving for something big. You have to accept it, get creative in managing it later, but don't sacrifice your core focus time. Trust that doing the one thing will eventually give you the means to handle the chaos.
Okay, don't let the mess derail the mission. Thief 3.
Poor health habits. This is the silent thief. Personal energy mismanagement.
Burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah. Sacrificing sleep, good food, exercise. It feels like a shortcut to success, but it's a gamble that can't pay off. High achievement needs high energy. Period.
So prioritize energy.
Absolutely. The source gives a highly productive person's daily energy plan. Meditate, pray first, then eat, right, exercise, sleep. Aim for 10K steps, connect with loved ones, hug, kiss, laugh. Then set goals plan, and then time block your one thing. Start energized.
That sounds like a solid routine.
Okay.
Final thief, number 4.
Environment doesn't support your goals. Your environment is basically who you see and what you experience every day. You have 2 parts.
Okay.
First, people. Attitudes are contagious. Surround yourself with positive, successful people. You create a positive spiral of success. Research shows social networks affect everything: obesity, happiness, performance. Oprah said it best. Surround yourself only with people who are going to lift you higher.
Choose your circle wisely. And the second part of environment. Place. your physical surroundings. Remember, sweep for minds. Clear your path from home to your bunker of distractions. Emails, TV, tempting snacks. Pave the way with the right people in the right place.
Makes sense. Set yourself up for success. So we've covered a lot. Purpose, priority, productivity, commitments, thieves. How does it all come together?
Well, the journey to anything you really want, it always starts with a single step. And that step is your one thing.
Think big, but start small.
Exactly. Imagine your life as big as it can possibly be. Whatever you can envision, the idea is you have the capacity to move toward.
But paradoxically.
Right. While living large requires thinking big, getting there actually requires you to go small. Focus small. It simplifies things, crystallizes what you must do now. Like planting an apple tree, you start with one small sapling, even if you're thinking of an orchard. Success builds sequentially, action on action. One domino knocks down the next.
And this takes faith, doesn't it? There's that Cherokee story about the two wolves inside us.
Fear and faith, yeah. Fear is anxiety, inaction. Faith is conviction, action. And the wolf that wins.
The one you feed. Your faith in your purpose, your priorities, that's what fuels the action. And that action helps you avoid regret.
Ah, regret. That's a big motivator.
It's maybe the ultimate payoff.
Yeah.
No regrets, Mark Twain said. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do.
So true.
And Bronnie Ware's work on the regrets of the dying. The number one regret. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. It's about those half-filled dreams and unfulfilled hopes.
Wow, powerful stuff. So the message from our elders is clear. No regrets. Make sure every day you do what matters most.
And as we've seen, success is an inside job.
Like that story of the father and the puzzle of the world.
Exactly. The boy puts the picture of the man on the back together, and the world map just falls into place.
When I put the man together, the world just fell into place.
It perfectly illustrates it. When you bring purpose to your life, know your priorities, and hit high productivity on what matters most each day, your life makes sense, and the extraordinary becomes possible. You are the first domino.
So how can someone listening right now put the one thing to work?
The focusing question is incredibly versatile. You can apply it anywhere.
Give us some examples.
Sure. For your personal life, what's the one thing I can do this week to discover or affirm my life's purpose? For your family, what's the one thing I can do every week to spend more quality time together?
Simple, but focused.
For your job, what's the one thing I can do today to complete my current project ahead of schedule? For your work team, maybe in a meeting, what's the one thing we can accomplish in this meeting and end early?
Everyone loves ending meetings early.
Right, and this applies everywhere, nonprofits, schools, communities. Just remember to time block it and be patient. Forming a new habit takes time, maybe 66 days on average.
Be persistent.
Yeah. Even the author shared a funny story where his wife told him, "Gary, that's not my one thing right now." So it applies to everyone.
That's great. Okay, so ultimately, what's the big takeaway?
The one thing forces you, really, to think big, work things through, to create a list, prioritize that list, and then hammer away on the first thing, the one thing that starts your domino run.
Try to do everything, end up with nothing. Try to do the one thing.
The right one thing, and you can wind up with everything you ever wanted.
We've definitely taken a deep dive today into this surprisingly simple truth behind getting extraordinary results. We've looked at purpose, priority, productivity,
The commitments to mastery and accountability.
and those sneaky thieves that steal our focus.
So the really important question for you listening is, now that you have these insights, what's the one thing you can do right now, today? The thing that starts applying these principles in your own life, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary.
Take a moment. Really ask yourself that question. Because when it comes down to creating an extraordinary life, remember, you are the first domino.